Elisha and the Widow, the story about trusting God and His provisions. Hello, boys and girls. Today, we're going to hear a special story from the Bible about a man named Elisha and a poor widow with 2 sons. In this story, we'll see how God always provides, no matter how big or small our problem is. Are you ready? Let's jump in. A long time ago, there was a widow, a woman whose husband had died. She was feeling very sad and worried because she didn't have any money left to take care of her 2 boys, Ben and David. David was very worried about his mom, so he asked,
"Mom, what's wrong? Why do you look so sad?"
And the widow, his mother told him in sadly,
"Oh, my dear boys, we have no money and I owe a lot of money to people. If I can't pay them, they will come and take you away as servants."
And Ben was really angry when he heard what his mother just said.
"They can't take us, Mom. We'll help you find a way."
The widow hugs her boys, tears in her eyes.
"I don't know what to do. We have nothing but only a small jar of oil left."
As they were crying, someone knocked on their door. The prophet Elisha, a man of God, came to visit the widow.
"That's Elisha. Mom says he speaks to God."
"Do you think he can help us?"
The widow greets Elisha and tells him about her problem.
"Oh, Elisha, my husband has died and we are badly in debt. I have no money and only a little oil. The debt collectors are coming to take the boys away from me. What can I do?"
Elisha listens carefully, then smiles kindly and says,
"Don't worry. God will help you. Tell me, what do you have in your house?"
"Nothing,
says the widow.
except a little bit of oil in the small jar."
Ben looks worried and says,
"That's not enough to pay anyone."
Elisha smiles and says,
Here's what you need to do. Go and ask all your neighbors for empty jars, as many as you can. Then, go into your house, close the door, and pour your oil into all the jars.
The boys spring into action. They start running around the neighborhood, knocking on doors, while the widow walks along behind them.
"Hi, do you have any empty jars we can borrow?" "Mom, I got 2 more!"
David exclaims, and then Ben squeals with delight.
"I have 3 more jars from over there."
The widow and her boys went to all their neighbors, asking for empty jars. They collected jar after jar after jar. The boys were excited, but they weren't sure what was going to happen next. Ben and David look at the pile of jars they collected. They're impressed. Ben is so happy, he says.
"That's a lot of jars we have collected."
David, being the older son, has more concerns.
"Yeah, but we only have a little oil. How's this going to work?"
Now, it was time to see what God would do. The widow took her little jar of oil nervously and started to pour it into one of the empty jars. Back at home, the widow closes the door, while the boys look curiously at the small jar of oil. Now, it was time to see what God would do. The widow took her little jar of oil nervously and started to pour it into one of the empty jars. The widow tips the jar over. Oil pours out steadily, filling up the first jar completely. The boy's eyes widen in amazement. David gasped.
"Look, it's full, but we still have more oil."
The widow pours oil into another jar. It fills up too. Then another, and another, and another. The boys jump up and down with excitement. Ben couldn't stop but kept laughing.
"Mom, the oil is still coming. Keep going."
When the widow finished pouring, every single jar was filled with oil. It was a miracle. God had made her little bit of oil last long enough to fill all the jars. David spoke to Elisha with gratefulness and joy.
Look at all the oil. God really did help us.
Now take this oil and sell it. You'll have enough to pay off your debt and even more to take care of your family.
The widow hugs her boys, tears of joy in her eyes.
Thank you, Elisha. God has been so good to us.
Ben said with excitement.
Mom, we can pay everything and still have enough to live on.
David added on.
Thank you, Lord. You remember us.
So, what did we learn today? God cares about us and provides for us when we trust Him. Just like He helped the widow, He will help you too, no matter what you need.
Remember, even if you have just a little, God can make it more than enough.
Yeah, God can take care of you in big and small ways.
Just trust Him and watch what He can do.
And that's the wonderful story of Elisha and the widow's oil. This story comes from the Bible in the book of 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 1 to 7. It reminds us that God is always there to help us, no matter how big or small our needs are. Thank you for watching. Remember, God's love and care are always with you. See you next time.